Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Friday morning the 28th of June, and in this video we're sticking with the Jay Slater disappearance. This is a 19-year-old young man from Oswaldtwistle in the great county of Lancashire in the UK who had gone over to the Spanish island of Tenerife for the NRG Festival. We're now on day 12. Jay has not been seen by anyone since June 17th. So if you count the 17th as day 1, this is day 12. Actually, he's only been missing for 11 days, but it's day 12. Now, yesterday, I did a live stream about the quote-unquote investigator, ex-cop, Mark Williams Thomas, who's flown over from the UK because he likes high-profile cases, even though he hasn't been a cop for nearly a quarter of a century. He left the force in the year 2000. Lots changed since then. But we'll leave him to one side and let him do his own thing, threatening to dox witnesses and stuff, and concentrate on the actual search. Because there's a new search area, which I find interesting, because coincidence or not, it coincides with an idea that someone put in my Facebook group a few days ago, and I think this theory has a lot of merit. Unlike the wild ones, this one does have a lot of merit. So, Spanish police have been using helicopters and drones in the national park, the rural Tillington Park, which stretches for 200,000 acres. It's not one dot on a map, it's the whole of the northwest region of Tenerife. So when they say his phone last pinged there, we don't know exactly in that 200,000 acres where his phone last pinged. It's close, it's quite close to where he was last seen, and his last phone ping was at 8:50 on the morning of June 17th. They are still staying in the same area, general area, but they've moved on a bit, turning their attention to a new area in the Masca Valley, concentrating on a ravine further along the path that he took. We know which path he took because Ophelia, who owns the cafe where Jay was last seen, where he'd gone back to this Airbnb with two guys that he'd met at the festival, I suspect he may have got confused and thought there wasn't a bus for 10 hours, and that's why he started walking. We know that Ophelia passed him about 20 minutes or so after she spoke to him about the bus and saw him walking north, which was in the wrong direction from Los Cristianos, which is where Jay should have been heading to, right down here in the south. It's nearly 30 miles away. But where Jay may have been heading is actually in the wrong direction, but he was going in the wrong direction on purpose. So this is the theory that was put in my Facebook group, that what if with that last percent of his phone he'd checked his map and he thought he should be heading to Los Cristianos, which is very close to Masca, rather than Los Cristianos. It's a kind of an obvious mistake to make. I said, what if got to here because Ophelia saw him going off into the hills and he'd been stabbed by a cactus. He stayed on the road, he wouldn't have been stabbed by any cactuses. But what if he got further up, further north, and Los Cristianos is just here? What if he, on his maps, thought he was heading to there? Maybe didn't walk up here, because they've been searching like this area. What if he got further up here? Presumably that's the ravine they're looking at, and he fell. Could be somewhere around here. So it could well be that he's down here somewhere in this area. I do think it's highly, highly unlikely he's still alive. But the Spanish cops have said that they are going to continue to look for him. There will be a time when they have to pack it in. But having said that, there's been some talk, and his family, I think, probably want to believe this, that he was seen later that day on the 17th in Santiago de Teri, which is down here. Well, that's further south. So is it possible that he went north, realised he was going in the wrong direction and come back south? Yeah. The mayor has addressed this, that he was seen watching the Euros in a bar. I don't know. Honestly, I think it's a young man who looks a bit like Jay. I do believe he went north. I don't believe he's there. I mean, anything's possible, but that's the Los Cristianos ravine where the search for him is now headed. So here, this area. Yeah, it's there. So that's where they're concentrating right now. If you look there. Yeah, look. Down this ravine. Yeah. Look, I think that's a very possible theory, that he got confused with the name of the place he should be heading to. I believe that's what happened with Riley Strain, that he was walking very drunkenly, but with purpose, and he didn't ask the cop that he passed, like moments before he would have gone in the river, for directions, because I believe he thought he was heading in the right direction, because there's a business in Nashville that has a very similar name to the hotel where Riley should have been going. Riley just went in the wrong direction, and he had his phone with him. And I said right early on when that footage came out of him walking through Nashville town that it looks like he's holding his phone out. And I bet that he had maps up on his phone. I mean, this is so similar to Riley Strain, you know, a young man in an unfamiliar location, and he's just made a mistake and gone in the wrong direction. Now, the difference is Riley ended up in the river, whereas Jay is out in very arid terrain with lots of cactuses. But we'll see. Now, the search dogs that I talked about the other day in a video, the ones that have come from Madrid, who are trained to search large swathes of land. The issue is, are they trained to look for deceased people as well as living people? Because bodies that are decomposed, and if Jay's been out there deceased for, well, the 12th day now, they smell very different than person who is alive. I don't think I need to say any more than that, do I? But it's very sad. It's very sad. This person here, Christy, from the UK, said, I have a son who is young and I can't stop thinking about him and his mum and what his mum is going through. I can't even imagine what she's thinking and what any parent would go through. It's horrific, and it doesn't matter what anyone's saying online on what's happened. That's somebody's child. I wouldn't like to think what's happened to him. Yeah, Andy Collins. What I think happened is that he went out partying, maybe overdid it, had to find his way home, and he was overconfident maybe, and got into a situation he could not get out of. Yeah. Man versus terrain that you are really, really not familiar with can unfortunately end in tragedy. Alright guys, let me know what you think about this theory in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.